Alright, so which month is the first month of the year? Alright, the original calendar which the Romans borrowed from the Greeks consisted of only 10 months in a year of 304 days. Martius was the first month, followed by Aprilis, Maius, Junius, Quintilis, Sexilis, September, October, November, and December. Quintilis means 5, Sextilis means 6, September is 7, October is 8, November is 9, and December is 10. So if December is the 10th month, that means the first month of the year is March, right? And you see, this is all the way back hundreds of years before BCE, right? So what happened is, back then, March was the first month of the year. Then it was changed over a period of time to April, right? And then we grew accustomed to this April being the first month of the year in terms of Hebrew. Now, not speaking other ways. We get accustomed to April being the first month of the year. That caused us to totally forget that it was actually even March, right? So when we think about changing times and stuff, we only think about jumping from April to January. You understand? How far back do we choose to go with time being changed? It's the same thing that happened in Samoan Islands, you know. Back then, before 1892, they used to worship on Sunday. Now, after 1892, when they changed their timing, that same Sunday turned to Saturday. But the generation from 1893 coming down, these people don't go back to that time period. So they complain about time change from Saturday to Sunday now, right? But how far back they choose to go with that? Otherwise, they would have understood that the same Saturday is going back to the same Sunday that it used to be, right? So March is the original first month of the year, right? Let's look at this. Martius means March, right? March marked a return to the active life of farming. That's when all the things come back new, vegetation, food is abundantly, right? Mating season, you see those are the signs. And these usually take place in March, right? Now, what you have to understand is, all right, look at this. This is the zodiac, right? We're just cross-referencing information here, not honoring or allowing, right? Now, March, the first of that cycle is March. Hold on, let me go back to something because there's something I want to read here. Need to get something here. So this is talking about March, right? Now it says, because of its original position as the first month, a number of festivals originally associated with the new year occurred in March, right? Now, let's go back here. Now, March 21st. However, it would still fall under the moon of March, right? So whenever that new moon falls, even though they start it at 21st, and even when you go into the daylight savings, usually it's up until this time, right? Usually it's up until the time that they change their daylight savings, jump in 1 hour, right? Now, remember it says is about festival and stuff like that. Look at the symbol for the first month of the zodiac year, the ram, right? Hold on. Let's get something here. So usually about festival, and we see that the sign that they have on there, And the first month is the ram, right? Now, when you go biblical, what was the ram used for? This is Leviticus 9 and 3. And unto the children of Israel thou shalt speak, saying, take ye a kid of the goats for a sin offering. A sin offering, you see, without blemish, right? A sin offering, right? What offer do we offer on the 14th day of the first month, right? It's usually a sin offering, right? Which is the Passover. So you see, even their zodiac aligns with the scriptures. Why? Let's get some understanding. Now, this is Revelation 22 and verse 2. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits. Right? What are these 12 manner of fruits? These are talking about this is talking about the heavens, right? The same thing Eve was learning in the garden, all these philosophies of what? This same thing that we're looking at right here. The zodiacs, right? You start going into witchcraft and stuff like that. But you have to understand, right? The things in the heavens are not gods for us, right? But the moment you start to worship them, right? That's when the problem comes in. For example, a tree is just a tree, right? But what happens when you start to deck that tree with silver and gold, all these lights playing your music, that is going into witchcraft, right? But the tree in itself is not a sin, right? So it's the same thing with the stars in the heavens, right? They are there to give to help us with time and directions and all of that. For example, if you're out in the oceans, right, and you lost your way or something, what do you use to help you? You use the North Star. Once you find the North Star, then you can find North, South, East, and West, right? But if you start to worship the North Star, that's where the problem comes in. And remember, even if you worship the North Star, the star itself is not a sin. It's when you start to worship it, that's when it becomes a sin. All right? So, looking at the zodiac here, you'll see that these are aligned even with the scriptures because what? They are real. Whether you believe it or not, they are real. It's just that for us not to be dismayed at these things, right? These are the gods of the other nations. But from this information, we can align it with our scriptures. Remember, we read earlier that December was the 10th month of the year. So even when you look at the zodiac signs, you will see that December is the 10th month, right? January 11th, February the 12th. So March is the first month of the year, right? Now you have to understand wherever that moon falls, that is where the new year begins, right? So for example, let's look at this. Let's go back to the months. All right. This is 2018. When you look at March 1st, right? That would have been the first month of the year. But when you go over to here, when you come over to 2019, you'll see that the new year starts on the 19th of February. So you have to be careful, right? It's wherever the moon falls, right? So if it falls in February, in March, or in April, once the cycle starts again, because you have to count always 12 moons, right? So from spring to spring, there are only 12 moons, right? Now if you look at this, there are so many errors with the solar calendar. Look at this. January, 2 moons, right? March, 4. So you're already 3 months and 4 moons. That's not making any sense, right? 5, April, 6, May, 7, June, 8, July, 9, August, 10, September, 11, October, 12, November, 13, December. So you see, on the Gregorian calendar, you can get 13 months from January to December. That's their year, right? But on our calendar, you cannot get this from March to March, from spring to spring. Look, March, right? 1 month, 31st would have been the second month. 29th of April, 3rd. 29th of May, 4th. 28th of June, 5th. 27th of July, 6th. 26th of August, 7th. 24th of September, 8th. 24th of October, 9th. 23rd of November, 10th. 22nd of December, 11th, right? 21st of January, 12th. And 19th of February would be the first month. So you see, 13 months in a year only exist on the calendar because it does not align with the moon. The days are not aligned with anything tied to anything in the heavens, right? So that's the problem. So the solar calendar is totally off in so many ways, right?